Have you ever wondered why ancient kings were buried with mountains of treasure? It wasn't just about showing off. From my time as a pharaoh, I can tell you the main reason was our unshakable belief in the afterlife. We saw death not as an end, but as a journey to another world. A world where we would need our possessions to live as comfortably as we did on earth and to maintain our divine status among the gods. These grand tombs, filled with gold, jewels, and chariots, were the ultimate status symbol. They were a final, eternal declaration of our power and wealth to both the mortal world and the divine realm. Think of the tomb of Tutankhamun. His treasures weren't just for show, they were his provisions for eternity, a complete kit for the next life. This practice ensured that even in death, a king remained a king. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey back in time fascinating, please like this video and subscribe for more secrets from the ancient world. Have you ever wondered why ancient tombs, like those of the Egyptian pharaohs, were filled with dazzling treasures? Was it just a grand display of wealth? Or was there something deeper going on? For thousands of years, across countless cultures, the powerful were laid to rest, not just in elaborate tombs, but surrounded by gold, jewels, and all the finery of their earthly lives. Today, we're going to journey back in time to unravel the secrets behind this fascinating and opulent tradition. It's a story of faith, power, and a belief in a life beyond death that shaped entire civilizations. So, what really drove our ancestors to bury billions in treasure with their deceased rulers? Let's dig in and find out. The number one reason for these lavish burials can be summed up in two words: the afterlife. For many ancient societies, death wasn't an end, but a transition, a journey to another realm. And just like you'd pack for a long trip, they believed the dead needed to take their belongings with them. This belief was especially strong in ancient Egypt. To them, the afterlife was a very real place, a mirror of the world they knew. They called it the Field of Reeds, a paradise where life continued much as it did on the banks of the Nile. But to get there, and more importantly to thrive there, you needed your stuff. Imagine you're a pharaoh. On earth you are a living god, surrounded by luxury, servants, and symbols of your immense power. Would you expect anything less in the afterlife? Of course not. To maintain your royal status in the next world, you needed your golden chariots, your jeweled daggers, your ornate furniture, and even your favorite board games. These weren't just sentimental keepsakes. They were essential equipment for eternity. Food, wine, and even mummified pets were included to ensure the king lacked for nothing. The tomb was essentially a fully furnished eternal home, equipped for a kingly existence that would last forever. This belief was so ingrained that the effort and resources poured into tomb building were considered a vital investment in the pharaohs, and by extension, the kingdom's eternal well-being. But it wasn't just about packing for a trip. The very act of creating such a magnificent burial was a powerful statement in the world of the living. Think of it as the ultimate power move. A pharaoh's tomb wasn't just a grave, it was a monument, a final, enduring testament to his greatness. The sheer scale and wealth of the burial communicated a clear message to his subjects and rivals alike. My power was so immense, my wealth so vast, that I can afford to take it all with me. It solidified the ruler's divine status. By being buried in a manner befitting a god, the pharaoh reinforced the idea that he was more than just a man. He was a divine intermediary, and his successful journey to the afterlife was crucial for the cosmic order and the prosperity of Egypt itself. The grandeur of the tomb and its contents served as a permanent legacy. Long after the pharaoh's name might have been forgotten in daily life, the towering pyramid or the hidden treasure-filled vault stood as a physical reminder of his reign. It was a way of achieving a form of immortality on earth, even as the soul journeyed to the Field of Reeds. This display of power also acted as a deterrent. The resources required for such a project, mobilizing tens of thousands of workers, sourcing precious materials from across the known world, demonstrated the state's incredible organizational strength and control. In a way, the tomb was the ultimate state-sponsored project, a final grand assertion of the king's and the kingdom's might. Of course, we can't talk about treasure-filled tombs without mentioning the most famous one of all, the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. When Howard Carter stumbled upon its sealed doorway in 1922, the world was left breathless. King Tut was a relatively minor pharaoh who ruled for a short time and died young, yet his tomb was packed to the brim with over 5,000 incredible artifacts. We're talking solid gold coffins, a stunning golden death mask, chariots, thrones, jewelry, and countless other objects of breathtaking beauty and craftsmanship. The discovery was a sensation because it was almost completely intact, giving us an unprecedented direct window into this ancient practice. The treasures of Tutankhamun weren't just a pile of gold. Each item told a story. There were everyday objects like walking sticks he used in life, game boards for entertainment, and even a mannequin of his torso, likely used for fitting his royal robes. These items confirm the belief that the pharaoh would need all the comforts of his earthly life in the next. The intricate religious iconography on the coffins and shrine panels detailed the dangerous journey through the underworld and the spells needed to navigate it successfully. Tutankhamun's tomb is the ultimate proof of concept. It shows us in vivid detail how the beliefs about the afterlife and the need to project power translated into a tangible, awe-inspiring reality. If a minor king like Tut was buried with such splendor, one can only imagine the unimaginable treasures that must have filled the tombs of great pharaohs like Ramesses the Great or Thutmose III tombs that were sadly looted in antiquity. While Egypt is the most famous example, this practice wasn't unique to the Nile Valley. All around the world, ancient cultures shared similar ideas. In China, the first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, was buried with the now legendary Terracotta Army. This subterranean army of over 8,000 life-size soldiers, along with chariots and horses, was built to protect the emperor in the afterlife. It's a different expression of the same core belief. The ruler needs his resources, in this case, a massive military force, to maintain his power in the next world. Ancient texts even suggest his tomb contains a map of his empire with rivers of flowing mercury, a truly extravagant display. Let's travel to the plains of Eurasia, where the Scythians, a nomadic people, buried their chiefs in large mounds called kurgans. These tombs were filled with spectacular gold objects, weapons, and sacrificed horses, essential companions for a warrior culture on the move. Even in the Americas, the lords of the Moche civilization in Peru were laid to rest in adobe pyramids with stunningly rich grave goods, including intricate gold headdresses and sacrificed retainers who were meant to continue serving their master in the afterlife. From the royal graves of Ur in Mesopotamia to the Viking ship burials of Scandinavia, where chiefs were sent off to Valhalla in their longships filled with weapons and goods, the pattern repeats. The specifics change, but the fundamental idea remains: you can and you must take it with you. So why did this practice eventually fade? The rise of new belief systems played a huge role. Religions like Christianity and Islam introduced different concepts of the afterlife, ones where spiritual purity and faith were more important than material wealth. The focus shifted from earthly possessions to heavenly rewards earned through devotion and good deeds. Lavish burials were often seen as a form of vanity, a distraction from what truly mattered for the soul's salvation. As these new faiths spread, the old traditions of burying treasure with the dead began to seem unnecessary, even sacrilegious. There was also a very practical problem: tomb robbers. The immense wealth buried in these tombs made them irresistible targets. Almost as soon as a grand tomb was sealed, efforts to break into it began. Despite curses, hidden entrances, and complex traps, the vast majority of ancient tombs were plundered within a few generations of their construction. Over time, rulers and their families likely realized that burying a fortune was, in essence, just creating a savings account for thieves. It became more practical to pass wealth down to living heirs or to donate it to religious institutions to ensure prayers for the deceased's soul, which was seen as a more effective way to secure a positive afterlife in the new religious landscape. The era of the treasure-packed tomb had come to a close, leaving behind a legacy of mystery and wonder for us to explore. So, the next time you see a photo of Tutankhamun's golden mask, or read about a newly discovered ancient burial, remember what it truly represents. It's more than just a hoard of treasure. It's a physical manifestation of a profound belief in life after death. It's a final, powerful statement from a ruler determined to carry their status into eternity. It's a window into a time when the line between the world of the living and the world of the dead was beautifully and expensively blurred. These tombs are a timeless reminder of the human desire for immortality and the incredible lengths we will go to in our quest to conquer death itself. Have you ever wondered why we, the pharaohs of old, were laid to rest in tombs brimming with gold, jewels, and countless treasures? It's a question that has echoed through the ages, whispered among scholars and adventurers alike. Was it mere vanity, a final, ostentatious display of earthly power? Or was there something more profound at play? Today, from beyond the veil of time, I shall reveal the sacred truths behind this grand tradition. Journey with me, and you will understand that our tombs were not just graves, but gateways. The world you know is but a shadow of the true reality. For us, life on this mortal coil was merely a preparation, a brief sojourn before our eternal journey began. Our most profound and unshakable belief was in the afterlife, a realm we called the Duat. This was not a place of ghostly spectres, but a vibrant, eternal world, much like the Egypt we ruled, but perfected. It had its own landscapes, its own gods, and its own challenges. To navigate this realm and live eternally in the field of reeds, our paradise, we needed provisions. Think of it as preparing for the most important voyage of your existence. Would you set sail across a vast, unknown ocean without supplies? Of course not. And so our tombs were filled with everything we would need. The golden sarcophagi were not just coffins. They were divine vessels to protect our physical form, our kat, which had to be preserved through mummification so our soul, our ba, could recognize it. The food, the wine, the furniture, all were meant to sustain and comfort us. The chariots were for traversing the celestial plains, and the weapons were to protect us from the demons and serpents that lurked in the Duat's underworld. The treasures, the glittering gold and lapis lazuli, were more than just wealth. In our culture, gold was believed to be the flesh of the gods. By surrounding ourselves with it, we were affirming our own divinity. We were not just kings, we were gods on earth, Horus in life, and Osiris in death. These precious materials held a divine energy, a celestial power that would aid our rebirth and ensure our place among the pantheon of gods. Our burial goods were a testament to this divine status, a declaration to the cosmos itself that a god was returning home. But let us be clear, this was also a statement to the living. The sheer scale and opulence of our pyramids and tombs were a final, enduring testament to the power and stability of our reign. A magnificent burial complex, filled to the brim with the finest artifacts the kingdom could produce, projected an image of immense strength and prosperity. It was a message to our people and to our rivals that the dynasty was strong, that the divine order, or Ma'at, was upheld, and that the Pharaoh's influence transcended even death itself. It ensured that our legacy would be etched into the very stones of Egypt, a story of power that would last for eternity. The construction of these monuments employed thousands, a massive public work that unified the kingdom in service to their god-king. Consider the journey our spirit had to undertake. Upon death, our Ka, or life force, and our Ba, our personality, would separate from the body. They would then embark on a perilous journey through the underworld, guided by the spells and incantations written on the tomb walls and papyrus scrolls, what you call the Book of the Dead. These were not mere decorations, but a vital roadmap, a divine GPS to navigate the trials ahead. The ultimate goal was the Hall of Two Truths, where our heart would be weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. If our heart was lighter than the feather, proving a virtuous life, we were granted eternal life with Osiris in the field of reeds. If it was heavy with sin, it would be devoured by the beast Amit, and our soul would cease to exist. This was the ultimate fear, oblivion. The amulets placed within our mummy wrappings, like the scarab beetle over the heart, were enchanted to protect us during this judgment, to ensure our heart did not speak out against us. Every single item in our tombs had a purpose, a magical or practical function in this critical journey. The Ushabti figurines, small statues of workers, were there to answer our call and perform any labor required of us in the afterlife so that we could rest and enjoy our eternal paradise as the royalty we were. Perhaps the most famous example you know is that of the boy king Tutankhamun. His tomb, discovered nearly intact, was a dazzling window into our world. The sheer volume of his treasures shocked the modern world, but to us it was simply what was required. His golden masks, his inlaid thrones, his alabaster jars, each was a necessary component for his journey. His tomb was modest by the standards of mightier pharaohs like Rameses the Great or Thutmose III, whose tombs were plundered long ago. Can you even imagine the splendors that were lost to time and tomb robbers? Tutankhamun's discovery gives you but a glimpse, a tiny sliver of the glory that we commanded in both life and death. This belief was not unique to Egypt. Across the ancient world, from the royal tombs of Ur in Mesopotamia to the terracotta armies of China's first emperor, rulers were buried with their worldly possessions. The Scythian chiefs were buried with their horses and servants, the Viking lords with their longships. The common thread is a belief that death is not an end, but a transition, a belief that status, power, and identity carry on into the next world. It is a fundamental human desire to believe that who we are and what we have built does not simply vanish into dust. So when you look upon the golden mask of Tutankhamun or marvel at the sheer size of the Great Pyramid, do not see it as mere arrogance. See it as an act of profound faith. See it as a culture's ultimate investment in eternity. Our lives were dedicated to maintaining Ma'at, the divine order of the universe, and our deaths were the final, most crucial step in that cosmic duty. We built for eternity. We planned for eternity, and we equipped ourselves for eternity. Our treasures were not buried and lost. They were sent ahead, paving our way through the darkness of the Duat into the eternal light of the field of reeds. Our tombs were not monuments to death, but eternal vessels of life. Speaking in a deep, regal and slightly echoing voice, as if narrating from beyond the grave. This belief was not unique to my Egypt. Across the ancient world, from the fertile crescent of Mesopotamia to the distant lands of China, leaders were laid to rest with their riches. The royal tombs of Ur, the terracotta armies of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, all tell a similar story. It was a universal conviction that power and identity were intrinsically linked to one's possessions, and that this connection transcended the boundary between the living and the dead. We lived as gods, and we intended to continue as such. The sand and stone that hid us for so long were merely a veil. Now that you have pulled it back, remember the true reason for the splendor. It was our bridge to immortality.